Hey, hey, Idra. Okay, so one more group tema, and then we'll start. So Idra, did you do your homework?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the lady sitting behind you, behind the sheet for homework? Did she do a homework?
Yes, sir.
No, the lady sitting behind. Yeah, the lady sitting behind. Don't look. You see, she's looking back. Do your homework. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the way that she is smiling, it tells her that yes, she did her homework. But can the guys turn around and ask her if she did her homework? Yeah, ask the lady if she did her homework.
Yes, she said she didn't do it.
Okay. So okay. So we are waiting. We are waiting on. This is a draw. We are waiting on Pante. Then somebody from Tema will join with the camera and we start because I want us to be testing our cameras and make sure that everything is okay. Yeah, Mr. Gabriel is back. So yeah, so last week, right? For the past almost like 3 weeks now, we've been talking about uh, the fundamentals of a computer, right? And we talked about what a computer is, right? We talk about what a computer is. We're going through the part of a computer. So we went to go talk about which you guys have the tower. You always have the computer box, which is if you are looking at the screen, this thing right here, this guy, right, this guy right here, which we sent one to you. It's all this guy, this big boss. So we talked about that the computer case. Who can tell me what the computer case is? Idra, go ahead. What is a computer case? Okay, Idra, go ahead.
The computer case covers the system unit. The computer case covers all the components in the system unit.
Okay. Why is the other guy not talking? That whispering inside your ears. Huh? Okay. So anyone else can tell us what it is. Okay, so right now what we are going to do is that if you want to answer a question, right, you have to mention your name. So Idra, let's do that again so that the Fanti people will know you, the Tama people will know you. So what is your name? Hmm?
My, my name is Frederick.
No, they didn't hear you.
My,
Yeah,
my
Frederick.
name is, yes, from Adra. Computer case is a case that covers all the components in the system unit.
Okay, good, Frederick. Anyone else? So if you want to answer a question, you say your name, you mention your name, then you answer the question, right? So that everybody will know who you are. So right now, if Tema people are watching, right now we know who Frederick is. If Frontier people were watching, you know right now who Frederick is, right? So Frontier people, what is the computer case? What is the computer case?
My name is Reid Michael. A computer case is also known as a cabinet that enclosure contains all the most components in the system unit.
Okay. Okay. So this is good. So right now, Frederick, you know who Michael is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know who Michael is. Tema people are trying to join now, so Tema people are trying to join. So when we started talking about the case, right? When we started talking about the computer case, then what else did we talk about? After the computer case, what did we talk about? After the computer case, what did we talk about?
We talk about
Sir,
No, what's your name? You mention your name, then you
My name is Okia Elisha. We talk about motherboard.
motherboard. You say your name is Elijah, right? Your name is Elijah, and we talk.
Elisha. My name is Elisha.
Elisha.
Yes.
Okay, Elisha. And we talk about what? The motherboard, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we talk, and what did we say what did we say about the motherboard?
Green.
What did we say about the motherboard? What does it do? What is the motherboard?
The green board in the system unit.
Okay, think about it again. Let me go to Idra. Tema, also think about it. Idra, let's go. Yeah, Idra.
I'm Sharif.
What's your name?
Sharif.
Sharif.
Yes.
So you are the black sheriff, right? Okay, okay, Sharif, talk.
Motherboard is the backbone of the computer.
When you say backbone, what does it mean? Don't use don't pay something, no. What is the backbone?
It is the largest component inside the system.
Is it the largest one?
Yes.
Somebody can help him. Is it the largest component? Master Frederick, you see the way that you are changing books. So
he collected the book to copy it.
So what is the motherboard?
Sir,
Go ahead. Somebody wants to talk. What is the motherboard? You have to
My
mention
name
your
is
name.
Nelson.
You have to mention your name.
My name is Nelson.
Go ahead.
Motherboard is the backbone of the computer, which all other components are kept, and it helps us to communicate well.
Okay. Where did my Tema people go? Okay. So, Fante, I'm back to you. Mr. Elisha, what is the motherboard?
Sir, please tell people we are having network issues.
Who is having a network issue?
Tema.
Oh, okay. So, Fante, what is the, oh, but you can talk, right? Fante, Mr. Elisha, I'm waiting for your group. What is the motherboard?
My name is David.
Okay, David.
Motherboard is a printed circuit board containing the principal components of a computer or other device with connectors for other circuit board to
Right. When you get the right answer, right. I'm not just doing the
Okay. So all these things that I'm saying, right? That we have the motherboard, we have other devices and stuff. So on your the computer, who can show me where is the motherboard? Where is the motherboard?
Like you see the computer, can you see it? What is the computer?
Where is the motherboard? What color is it?
Well,
Huh?
it's a green color.
Okay, so you know what the motherboard is. Why is Kezia laughing? So no, Kezia, yeah, don't cover your mouth. We have already seen your laugh. So we all know where the Idra is bringing theirs. Where is the motherboard? Oh, Fanti people, thank you so much. You have shown us what the motherboard is. Good.
Yes.
Idra, where is the motherboard? What color is it in it? What color is it?
It's
Okay.
green in color.
Okay, so that is the motherboard. Okay,
Yes.
that is the motherboard. Okay, so apart from the motherboard, what else did we talk about? Okay,
I am
right.
Frederick. We talked about the CPU.
Okay, and what did we say the CPU does?
Sir, it is known as the brain of the computer.
Then what else?
Sir, my name is Prince. The CPU processes data into information.
Okay. You say your
My
name is
name is Nelson. My name is Nelson. It consists of several microchips for the microprocessor.
okay. Who else?
And
And it is a small chip located inside the computer.
Okay. Who else?
name is David. CPU is the brain of computer containing all the circuits needed to process input, record data, and output resource.
Okay. Okay. So it is good. So we're going to talk more about the the system, the central the unit, right? We're going to talk about the central processing unit.
Yes.
So I couldn't get my tools to take it out for you to see, right? But I'm going to show you where it is in the, where it is inside the computer, right? Then I will show you a picture. Then maybe next week I will take it out. Then I will show you to you, right? So the central processing unit, the CPU, right? As we all, if you can write this down, we all have agreed, Tema, Idra, Frante, individual watching, we all have agreed that the CPU is considered as the what? The brain of the computer, correct?
Yes.
We all have agreed that it is the brain of the computer.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, we have also agreed that the CPU performs all types of data processing operations. Do you understand when I say?
Yes.
Yeah. The CPU also controls the operations of all of the computer, right? The CPU controls the operations of all parts of the computer. Do you understand?
CPU.
The CPU controls all of the computer. Right? So if you look at my screen now, right? Do you guys see my screen? Or is it too small?
No.
So we all see this.
Yes.
So okay, so we okay. Okay, so this is you all see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the processing unit, right, is located under this, it's down here, right? It's under this. Who can tell me what this is? What is this? What is it called? I see it dropped.
Say heat sink.
It's called what?
Heat sink.
What does it do?
It reduces the heat in the system unit.
Okay. Okay, it reduces the heat to the what? Huh? It just said something.
It reduces the heat inside the system unit.
No, not inside the system unit alone. What is it? What is it covering? So, so the CPU is underneath it, right? So what? Yeah, what the heat sink is doing the heat sink also cools the CPU, right? So what did I say about the CPU?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
you said it is considered as the brain of the computer and it performs all data and it also control of the operation of all parts of the computer.
So did Fante did Elisha write it down? Okay, I'm going to say it again, right? So and you can write it down. You can write it. The CPU is considered as the brain of the computer. I'm going to take my time to do this. It is considered as the brain of the computer. The CPU also performs all types of data processing operations, right? The CPU controls the operations of all parts of the computer, right? So, like I said, the CPU, the location of the CPU, where is it, Dra?
Here we
The location of the CPU is underneath this thing, this big thing, and the name of this big thing right here, as Mr. Frederick said, is called the heat sink. So the CPU is underneath the heat sink. So I wanted to show you a picture of what the CPU looks like. I wanted to show you a picture, of what the CPU look like. So I'm going to share my screen now. I think this will be good. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is how it look like. This is how it look like. Right? This is how it look like. So this thing that is here is right underneath the heat sink. Because that we said that the CPU, yeah, that we said that the CPU is the brain, right? Is the brain. So it keeps on what? Thinking. So we don't want the CPU to be very hot, right? So the CPU can run very hot. So what we do is that we put a heat sink. So somebody from Frontier, right? Read this thing for me. Read it loud so everybody can hear you.
It will run even hotter. It will run even hotter when it is set to a higher clock speed to make this is called overclocking.
Okay.
This is why a heat sink and fan assembly This is why a heat sink and fan assembly are required to draw the heat away from the processor and disturb it to thin sheet or fins of metal for the fan to cool down.
Okay.
There's
No, that's it. So what is said that the thin sheet or fins of metals, right? So look at your heat sink. Do you see that things of metals? Do you see these things there? Right? Do we see it? Tema people, do you see it? So these are it look like plenty people have already opened theirs. Plenty people show me the CPU. Show us the CPU. Okay. You see, you can point to it. Do you all see what? Do you all see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you see, that is the processor. So what they took out is the heat sink to cool that processor, because the processor can get very, very hot. So they are showing you the heat sink, right? The people from Elisha is showing you. It's showing you what the heat sink is. So if you can see the picture of what Elisha is showing you, yes, you see, then this one was connected on top of the heat sink, on top of the CPU, right? So that we don't want the CPU to be very, very, very hot. If the CPU get very, very, very hot, it affects the processor. Do you understand? It affects the processor. Do we all get it?
Same question.
Okay. Somebody have a question?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Say, why is it that the CPU is the brain of the computer?
Why is it the brain of the computer?
Yes.
Okay, so this one we are going to, this one we are all going to talk about this today, right? So what does the motherboard does? The motherboard does what? So the motherboard connect all the components, right? The motherboard connect all the components in the computer is connected to what? The motherboard, right? So every computer or every electronic device has a motherboard, right? So everything is connected to the motherboard. Right now, everything is connected to a motherboard. We have to also get something, right? We have to get something that is able to do what? Think and do the processing. So right now, everything is connected. Right now, everything is connected. What is the next one? What will happen? There's something that has to come to be able to make sure that if I type on the computer, it is able to think fast and say that, hey, the A that you type, let me process it, something to process it. Even though they are connected together, there is something that has to process it. And when you look at the CPU is also connected to what? Who can tell me? It's also connected to the
Motherboard.
motherboard. Right? So something has to, even though there are things connected, something has to tell it that, hey, I have this connected app. So if a keyboard type, the brain of the computer would say that, okay, this keyboard that has typed, I need to show on your screen that you typed A, right? So the brain is so important, right? So the brain is so important. If you don't have a CPU inside your computer is what? If you don't have your computer is what?
Useless.
Huh? Your computer won't work. The computer will not work. If somebody take your brain out now, what will happen to you?
You'll
Can't think anymore.
die.
Brain,
You'll be mad.
you'll be abnormal. You'll be abnormal, right? You'll be abnormal. Things you'll be doing things that is not normal, right? So that is why the brain is important. The brain is important, and the good thing is that the brain, the CPU, is also connected to the motherboard. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the CPU is also connected to the motherboard. Right?
Say,
Yeah.
how can the CPU cause damage in using the computer?
I didn't hear you.
How can the CPU cause damage in using the computer?
No, the CPU, you see where the CPU is, right? The CPU is the one that thinks for you. So right now, if you are going to some place, right, and there is fire, right, will you go through that fire?
No.
No. Why wouldn't you go through the fire?
Yeah, because it will burn me.
It can burn you, right? So there's something that has to think. So you thought about it. Your brains are working. So your brain said that based on information, when I say information, based on the knowledge that you know about fire, that anytime that you touch fire, it burns you, right? So based on your knowledge, the information that you have, your brain, what you thought about it, based on your brain, you will not go through this fire because it is going to do what? Burn me. So if the computer brain is not thinking right, it will affect the what? The operations of that computer. Remember what we said about what the CPU does, right? We said that the CPU does what? Perform all types of what? Data processing operations. So if that brain is also messing up, you go through the fire and you get burned. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other question?
Yes, sir. Sir, please, what is the difference between the fan and the heat sink?
The what?
The fan and the heat sink, the difference between.
The fan. No, the fan, what you see, the fan will suck out the heat, right? It will be trying to be taking out the heat out. So when the fan be taking out the heat, the metal become what? Cold. Right? So the heat, the metal become cold to cool the system. Any question?
Sir.
When the CPU becomes much hotter, it can start giving you wrong information. The computer can start giving you wrong information.
If the CPU does what?
I'm too much hotter.
You said I didn't understand your question. He said if the
What will happen if there is a fan?
no, go ahead.
I said that if the CPU becomes too much hot, the computer can start giving you wrong information.
Yeah, if the CPU is hot, right, it is going to affect the data processing operation. Remember that we said that the CPU does what? Perform all types of data. So when it gets too hot, it will affect the functionality of it, right? It will not make it to function well. If it doesn't make it to function well, it will affect the data processing, right? It will affect the data processing of it. So if that CPU start to overheat, you will know that it will affect your also. You will see some slugging. Sometimes some words will not. So you will see that it is affecting your process, and it will also start giving you some errors on your computer. Any other question?
Yes.
My name is Clifford. What will happen if the fan stop working?
The fan. What will happen if the fan stop working? Right?
Yes.
This is from Clifford. So the fan, the job of the fan, which you know what? Let's talk about it now. Since we are there, then we'll come back to. So if the fan stop working, right? What is going to pull the heat out? Right? So if let me show you. If the fan stop working now, it is going to stop the heat to go out, right? So the fan is there to cool the fan acts like a coolant, right? Make sure that the fan cools. So if the fan stop working, there's nothing to take the heat out. You understand what I'm saying? So the CPU will start getting hot. Any further question?
Yes, sir.
Let me also add something, guys. To help you understand a little bit. When it's very hot, doing some when the sun is very hot, right? And you put some stuff in, like the rubber, or you put salt, what is it, salt or sugar in the sun. What happened to it? It melts, right? Yes. So this means that when the fan is not working and the computer gets hot, the system gets hot, some things can even melt and cause damage. Does it make sense? So you always need, the fan is very, very important in the computer, because you don't want things to melt and then it can even cause fire. Okay, so back to you, Prof.
So
Thank you, madam.
When you are at home, like what she said, and what she said that, and it is hot, what do you do? And if you have a fan, what do? You turn on the fan, right?
Yes.
What does the fan do to you?
It cools your room.
It cools your room, right? So if the fan in your room is broken, what is going to happen? Right? Yeah, so which means that the heat will still be there.
Yes.
So you don't want your fan to be broken. So if you are in your house and you don't want your fan to be broken, don't let the fan in the computer also get broken. Any more questions? Mhm.
Sir, please, inside the system unit, there are two fans. What is the rank of the other fan?
Which system unit? You have to show us the one that you are talking about. Inside the system unit, what is the part?
This one.
Which one?
This one.
So there are two fans, right?
Yes, sir.
One, yeah. You see, one is on the heat sink, and the other one is for the heat in the whole system. Right? The second one is to control everything inside the computer. Remember that you are going to close the computer. So inside will be hot, right? So the other one is for it to be able to cool all the component, that is inside the computer. You understand, right?
Yes, sir.
So this one is what you are talking about. Its purpose is to cool all these things, everything inside. Because when you close it, it's become hot. So you have to close it. This fan cools everything that is inside. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? So,
madam.
So the people, the front people have taken their heat sink out so that they can get to the CPU. So if you can show us, as a matter of fact, can you take it out and just show us on your screen? Take it out and show us on your screen so that we can. So let us see the CPU. Yeah, take it out. Let's take it out. Go ahead. Yep. Yep. Okay, good. So, yeah, fancy people, you can tell us what is written on it. What is written on it?
There is nothing on it.
Okay, turn it around. Let's wait for the Tema people to take it out, take theirs out. I said Tema, Idra and Tema to take theirs. Okay, so what are you holding now?
The heat sink.
Okay. Okay, good. Take the
One after that.
What about Tema? Tema, are you taking yours out?
Sir, please, our network, some of them are not able to connect. It comes and it goes.
Do you have the computer open? No, I'm talking to Tema people.
Yes, our system unit is
Okay. Open the computer and check the what is doing.
I'm going to
So, Edra, did you take it out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I see that the frontier people have already taken theirs out. Idra is almost done. So we are waiting.
There's not a good driver.
This one is.
So you've taken take the CPU, Idra.
Yes, we have taken the CPU from the sink.
Look underneath the heat sink. What is that? No, the one that you are holding. No, underneath. What is written there? Okay. So you have, so when you take it out, right? When you take it out, right now you understand what the heat sink is doing to the CPU, right? The heat sink is sitting right on top of the CPU, and what it does is that it is cooling you. Okay. Okay. So let me see the heat, the CPU again. Okay. So you have to lift the two metal that is holding it to take everything out.
So we can't lift it.
Okay. The French people said that it is good. So when you take it out, or what is written on the CPU, the French people said this is AMD Idra, what is yours? You can look at it and it will tell you what is written on it. Tema, you can tell me what is written on it. You cannot actually type it there. You can type it there. You can type it, what is written on your CPU. You can type it. So, Idra, Frantic people said that yes is AMD. What is address? You look at it and type it there.
Nothing is written there.
Nothing is written there. Yes.
Talking about the CPU.
Nothing is written there.
Okay. So, okay, so right now, today, yeah, you see Tema. Tema also has opened theirs. I can see what they have there. So today, right? So have you taken it out?
No, sir.
So we are on it.
Okay, have you taken it out? So what we are going to do, right? What we are going to do is that right now, let us, for the homework that I'll give to you guys, right? You guys should try to open it and tell us what is written on it. Until people are able to take theirs out and to see what is written on it. So you take it out, then next week, right? We're going to continue. So all what you have to do, you are going to continue, then we're going to talk more about it. Okay. Okay. Don't lose the CPU. Tema and a drought will get theirs out. They will written on it. Okay, so I want us to take some time and take it out, Tema, take it out. Then next week, look at it well, study it. You will see something written on it. So when you see, you write it down. Then we'll talk more about the CPU. and also how it is related to the system unit, the memory, the storage unit, okay? So whatever that you've taken it out, just put it, just don't screw it in. Just put it in a safe place that next week we can take it out and start talking about it, okay? Okay, so on that note, class for today is over. The teachers, please help them. If the teachers can help them, the teachers, please help them to be able to take their CPU out, help them. If they have any questions, they can write it down. Then next week we will talk more about it. Do we all understand?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Tema, do we all agree? Idra? Okay, so let's take this time just to be doing that. So class is done for the day. Mr. Frederick, thank you. Mr. Derek, thank you. Tema, thank you. Was the Elisha, thank you. Gabriel, and what's my sister's name? Kezia. Yeah, thank you. So we'll continue more next week, okay? So good, I don't know what time, I think it's 5 o'clock, right? So we will see you guys next week.